Okay, guys, we are going to cover the remaining part of the electrochemistry, and as we have studied in the earlier thing, the electrochemical series, we have seen it. Now we'll consider the applications that are there for the electrochemical series. Now we have seen that the electrochemical series, how it is arranged, the elements are arranged in decreasing order of their electrode potential. So if you see, at the top we have fluorine, at the bottom we have lithium, we have many elements in between, and we have hydrogen somewhere in between, which has an electrode potential of 0.00 volts. Okay, so if you consider fluorine, it has got the highest electrode potential, which is 2.87, and if you consider lithium, it has got the lowest electrode potential, which is basically 3.05, minus 3.05. And all these electrode potentials are calculated how? They are calculated on the basis of their comparison with She, or standard hydrogen electrode. We have seen all these things in the previous slides. All these electrode potentials are basically calculated from that. Okay, so now try and understand which is at the highest and which is at the lowest. How are they going to behave? Elements are arranged in decreasing order of the electrode potential. So we have arranged them in a decreasing order of their electrode potentials. Okay, so strength of oxidizing, now if you look at here, the strength of the oxidizing agent is increasing, and if you send here, the strength of the reducing agent is increasing. If you go from lower end of the electrochemical series to the upper end, the strength of the reducing agent is decreasing, or we can say that the strength of the oxidizing agent is increasing, and here the strength of the reducing agent is increasing, which means that the strength of the oxidizing agent is decreasing in this one. Okay, so if the first application that we are trying to get the applications of electrochemical series. Applications of electrochemical series. So here we can determine the relative strengths of oxidizing and reducing agents. Relative strengths of oxidizing and reducing agents means that elements at the top will show maximum tendency to get reduced. What do we mean by reduced? Elements at the top will show maximum tendency to get reduced. Reduced means what? To gain electrons. Okay, obviously we know fluorine will show the maximum tendency to gain electrons. It is the highest electronegative element. Will show the maximum tendency to get reduced. The one which shows tendency to get reduced by accepting electrons will obviously act as what? As an oxidizing agent. Okay, because it is gaining electrons, so it is acting as an oxidizing agent. So these are basically strong oxidizing agent. The ones that are here are strong oxidizing agents. Will show a maximum tendency to get reduced, which means that they will show a maximum tendency to gain electrons, and hence strong oxidizing agent. Elements at the bottom will show maximum tendency to get oxidized, which means that they will show a tendency to lose their electrons. We all know sodium and potassium being alkali metals, they will always show a tendency to lose the electrons. Losing electrons is basically a property of oxidation. Just as in zinc and copper, what we had seen is zinc is at a lower electrode potential than copper. Because of what? Because of this, what happens? Zinc is losing electrons. Why? Because it is a strong reducing agent. Why? Because it is undergoing oxidation. The one which undergoes oxidation is a reducing agent. The one which undergoes reduction is a oxidizing agent. So here elements at the bottom will show maximum tendency to get oxidized and hence act as reducing agents. Okay, so we can say here comfortably that the substances which have, so we can say here that the substances which have, here we are saying substances because in this electrochemical series we have a lot of radicals along with elements as well. So the substances which have a lower electrode potential, substances which have a lower electrode potential, substances which have a lower electrode potential, substances which have a lower electrode potential will show are stronger reducing agents. We will say are stronger reducing agents, are stronger reducing agents, because they are getting themselves oxidized. Okay, they are supplying the electrons, so they are reducing agents. In other ways we can also understand in this way that lithium will show a tendency to what? Lose electrons, which means it shows a tendency to get itself oxidized. However, with these electrons, the ones that are on the other end will gain it, so they will be what? They will be getting reduced. So lithium is more or less a reducing agent because it is supplying the electrons that are gained by the other part of the cell to get oxidized. So this is basically to get reduced. Gain of electrons is reduction. So substances which have a lower electrode potential, which means this category less than hydrogen, the substances which have a lower electrode potential are stronger reducing agents, and substances which have a higher electrode potential are stronger oxidizing agents. Clear? Okay. Is this clear? So we will look at more of the aspects or applications of electrochemical series. By looking at this series, we can first of all predict which of the substances are going to act as oxidizing agent and which are going to act as the reducing agent. Before hydrogen, on top of hydrogen, whatever there are, they have a positive electrode potential. If they have a positive electrode potential, then they will be acting as what? They will be the ones which are accepting electrons, which means that they are getting reduced, which means that they are strong oxidizing agents. These are the ones which will be losing, are the ones which will be showing a tendency to lose electrons, which means that they are getting oxidized, which means that they are good reducing agents. So by just looking at the electrochemical series, the order of the electrochemical series, which can predict which of the substances are going to act as oxidizing agents and which are going to act as reducing agents. Okay, you can take a snapshot of the same. We will move on to the next application of electrochemical series. Okay guys, we are going to move on to the second application of electrochemical series, and that's basically determining the EMF of a cell. EMF we all know is the electromotive force. Okay, so EMF is nothing but the difference between the electrode potentials of the cathode and the anode. Okay, so now in calculation of EMF of a cell, it is the difference between the reduction potential of the cathode and the anode. This is something that you will have to remember. Okay, reduction potential, it is not the oxidation potential, it is the tendency to get reduced. We all know that electrode potential and reduction potentials are the same. Okay, so electrode potential, or if we say that reduction potential, which is standard reduction potential, both are the same. All the electrode potentials of all the elements or all the radicals concerned are basically, all substances are compared to SHE, that is standard hydrogen electrode or normal hydrogen electrode. Okay. Okay, so now how do we calculate this? So there are certain concepts that you will have to understand. A negative electrode potential means that the redox couple is a stronger reducing agent than H plus H2. Okay, understand this. For example, zinc. Okay, zinc will have let's say a reduction potential of minus 0.126. So when I say Zn, we write in this way, right? When we are writing the cell, this is Zn2 plus and Zn. Okay, so Zn basically forms the ions and Zn is the electrode. We are writing it in the cell in a different form, but for the time being, let's consider. So zinc ions and zinc electrode have a electrode potential of minus 0.126 volt. This is the electrode potential. Okay, so and we know that for hydrogen it is basically what? Hydrogen, it is 0.00. So it is lesser than hydrogen, which means that it is a stronger reducing agent. We have seen in the electrochemical series, the ones which come below hydrogen are stronger reducing agents. Why? Because they are getting oxidized. They show a general tendency to get oxidized, to lose their own electrons. And if they are losing electrons, so if they are getting oxidized, so they are reducing agents. The ones which get oxidized are reducing agents. The ones which get reduced are basically oxidizing agents. It all depends on the redox reaction. So a negative electrode potential means then the redox couple is a stronger reducing agent than the She electrode couple. Okay, the hydrogen electrode couple. In the same way, a positive electrode potential A positive electrode potential or reduction potential means that the redox couple is a weaker reducing agent, which means a stronger oxidizing agent. Basically, weaker reducing agent means it will not supply electrons. On the other hand, it will show a tendency to gain electrons. So it will be getting oxidized, or I would say that it is the weaker reducing agent. Okay, then so it is basically getting reduced. I'm sorry, it is getting reduced here. Okay, the one which has a positive electrode potential. The one which has a positive electrode potential will show, for example, if we consider lead, okay. So let's say if I take lead here, Pb2 plus and Pb, they will show, or rather lead will not be an example here. We can take some other example here. Let's say if I consider the electrochemical series. For example, if I take fluorine, okay. So fluorine basically will show what? It will show an electrode potential. Fluorine is going to show an electrode potential of 2.87. Okay, 2.87, and this is plus. Okay, F plus and F2. Okay, so fluorine is going to show an electrode potential of 2.87 electrode volts. So as compared to hydrogen, it is showing as positive, because hydrogen or She electrode is going to have an electrode potential of 0.00, which means that fluorine is going to accept electrons. So if it is going to accept electrons, then it is going to get oxidized. It means that it will get, it is going to get reduced. It is going to get reduced, so means it is a good oxidizing agent but a poor reducing agent. So that's what we mean. A positive electrode potential means that the redox couple is a weaker reducing agent than this one. Okay, so whichever is having a positive electrode potential, it is a weaker reducing agent. Okay, it is a weaker reducing agent but a strong oxidizing, getting oxidized. So a stronger oxidizing agent. The one which has negative electrode potential is a greater reducing agent, or a stronger reducing agent, and a weaker oxidizing agent. Okay, so let's look at an example out here. We have this half reaction, right? The half reaction and overall cell reaction. So we have this cell reaction that is happening in an electrochemical cell. We have these zinc and zinc ions, and we have lead and lead ions. Both are 1 molar concentration. As I have already explained this to you. How do we write this? The anode part, okay, the anode part is basically written on the left hand side, the cathode part is written on the right hand side. So this will be the anode part and this will be the cathode part. This double line basically indicates a salt bridge which has been applied, and these are basically this is the electrode, these are the ions, the electrolytic ions that are getting formed here. Here also the ions that are getting formed, and this is the electrode. Okay, now look at this. Calculate the standard EMF for the cell if the standard electrode potential, that is reduction potential. Reduction potential or electrode potential are one and the same thing. Okay, until unless somebody or in some it is given as oxidizing potential. Even if it is given oxidizing potential, don't get afraid. Okay, because oxidizing potential will be just the reverse of reduction potential. Okay, it's just a sign change that will happen. So for example, if I say zinc has got a oxidizing or rather reduction potential of minus 7.6, if zinc has a reduction potential of minus 7.6 volts, this is a reduction potential SRP. So its SOP, standard oxidation potential of zinc, will be plus 0.76 volts. That's all what is going to happen. Okay, you just have to change the signs and it will be accepted. Okay, so now what is happening? See, at anode what will happen? Zinc has a lower electrode. Look at this. Okay, this is 763 minus 763 and this is 1.26. Okay, minus 1.26. So what will happen? Zinc is going to show a tendency to lose electrons here. Okay, zinc is having a lower, see, it is more negative, so it is lower electrode potential. So the standard reduction potential or standard electrode potential of zinc is lesser than lead. So what will happen? Zinc will show a tendency to lose electrons and lead will show a tendency to accept those electrons. Okay, comparatively. Okay, so comparatively zinc will show a tendency to lose electrons, which means that zinc will show a property to get reduced, which means zinc will show a property to get oxidized. Losing electrons is oxidation, which means that zinc here is going to act as a reducing agent and lead is going to accept those electrons. So accepting electrons is a process of reduction, and since it is a process of reduction, lead is going to act as an oxidizing agent here. Okay, so what will happen at the zinc electrode? The zinc electrode will behave as the anode Obviously by the cell itself we can see it, and also by the electrode potentials. Even if this cell reaction was not given, you could prepare it on your own by just looking at their electrode potentials. The one which has a lower electrode potential is obviously going to behave as the anode or the site at where the oxidation takes place, and the one which higher electrode potential is going to act as the cathode or the site at which reduction takes place. Okay. So if the site at which anode is a site where reduction takes place, and if reduction is taking place, then what will happen? Electrons are going to get lost. So oxidation half reaction. Which element is going to undergo oxidation? The one that is on the left hand side, okay, which is zinc, okay. The one which has a lower electrode potential is going to get oxidized. So ZnS is undergoing oxidation by losing its 2 electrons. And what will happen at the reduction side, that is at the cathode side? At the cathode side, what will happen? These lead ions will gain 2 electrons and become lead solid. Okay. So if we consider the overall reaction will be Zn plus Pb2 plus will be equal to Zn2 plus Pb. Okay. We are just adding these two. 1 second. Okay. I am so sorry for this. Okay. So this is going to be the one. Okay. So if we consider the EMF of the cell will be basically EMF of the right hand, electrode potential of the right hand part minus electrode potential of the left hand part, right hand part minus left hand part. Even if this was not given, you can see those figures and construct this one. Okay. So electrode potential R minus electrode potential of the left hand part. So what will happen? Minus 0.126 minus 0.763 electron volts. So what is going to come? 0.637. So this will be the EMF of the cell. This will be the EMF of the cell. One thing that you have to realize here is that when you are writing the overall cell reaction, at times it might happen that here we are just having 1 electrons, and here let's say we are requiring 2 electrons. So we will multiply this entire thing by 2, just as you do in simultaneous equations. Okay. So when you are writing the overall reaction will reflect in this way. However, you have to keep in mind that electrode potentials are never multiplied. You are not going to multiply integrally the electrode potentials. They will never going to multiply this by 2 or 1 or whatever. To balance the equation, you can multiply. What is necessary here is that these 2 electrons and these 2 electrons will actually cancel out each other. When you are adding this, obviously what is happening? These 2 electrons and these 2 electrons are getting cancelled, and this is the overall reaction. Okay. But when you are calculating the EMF, then you are not going to get multiplied. So in order to multiply, when will you multiply? Basically you will multiply when the electrons are not the same number. In order to just equate their numbers, you will multiply. So you will multiply Zn or Pb or Pb2 plus whatever. Okay. You are going to multiply all these ions by the integral multiplier, whatever you are doing, but take care that you are never multiplying the reduction potential, okay, or the electrode potential. So how are we going to calculate the EMF? EMF will be basically the electrode potential on the right part, that is cathode part, minus electrode potential on the left part, that is the anode part. So if we just subtract it, this is how we are going to calculate the EMF of the cell. So by just looking at the figures and by just looking at the reduction potentials, we can very well determine which one is going to oxidize and which one is going to get reduced. Okay. I hope this makes clear. We will deal with more problems in order to get a clarification on the same. Okay. You can take a snapshot of the same. Alright guys, so we are going to cover today one of the important aspects of electrochemistry, and that's Nernst equation. Okay. So we are going to cover Nernst equation today, and Nernst equation is basically covering, it's basically a standard format. Okay. Now when we talk about a standard, okay, when we talk about standard conditions, calculation of electrode potential under non-standard conditions. Okay, under non-standard conditions. Okay, so what do we have here? Calculation of electrode potential under non-standard conditions. So what are these non-standard conditions? Non-standard conditions, if we check into this, what are the non-standard conditions in which the temperature will not be equal to 298 Kelvin? That's basically the room temperature, that is 25 degrees centigrade. the temperature is not going to be 298 Kelvin, the pressure is not going to be 1 atmosphere. The pressure is not going to be 1 atmosphere, the temperature is not going to be 298 Kelvin as well, okay, and the concentration is not going to be 1 molar, okay. So this Nernst equation is basically primarily used in calculation of electrode potential under non-standard conditions, okay. So calculation of electrode potential under non-standard conditions. What are the non-standard conditions? When temperature is not 298 Kelvin, when pressure is not 1 atmosphere, and when the molar concentration is not 1 mole, okay. So let's look at it, okay. Now let's say for any example, a cathode and an anode reaction, let's say we take the example of zinc and copper, okay. So zinc has a lower reduction potential than copper, okay. For copper the reduction potential is higher. So what happens? Copper is basically the one which undergoes reduction and zinc is the one which undergoes oxidation. So at the anode, what do we see? At anode we see zinc basically losing its electrons, or rather getting oxidized, Zn2 plus 2 electrons, okay. And at the cathode, what do we see? At the cathode we basically see copper Cu2 plus 2 electrons it gains to form Cu, okay. We can represent this as aqueous, we can represent this as aqueous. So this is basically the anode and cathode reaction which normally happens, okay. So in case of a metal, let's say a metal which is undergoing oxidation and it is basically, let's say, acquiring a positive charge of N plus, so obviously it will be losing N electrons, okay. Now this N electrons which a metal is supposedly losing, this N electrons, which how much of charge will be carried by this? Okay. So we know that 1 electron carries a charge of 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19. Similarly, if we say 1 mole of electrons, that's Avogadro's number 6.023 into 10 to the power of 23, okay, 6.022 into 10 to the power of 23 moles of electrons. So what will be the charge? 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19. If we do all this calculation, we are going to receive 96500 coulombs of charge. 1 mole of electron is basically 96500 coulomb of charge, okay. So this is called basically Faraday. Faraday is nothing but charge of 1 mole of electrons. Charge of 1 mole of electrons. This is called Faraday's constant, okay. Now what do we have here? 1 Faraday is equal to 96500 coulombs, okay. Calculation of electrode potential under non-standard conditions. So how are we going to work this out? Okay, now understand what is the work done. Work done always has been Q into V, right. Work done basically we have studied in physics, when we calculate voltage is the amount of work done in carrying a unit positive charge. So obviously here also work done will be Q into V, okay, work done will be Q into V. So now if we calculate here, what will be the charge on 1 mole of electrons? Charge on 1 mole of electrons is 9650. So for example, a metal has undergone oxidation wherein it has lost N electrons, okay. So what do we mean? How many electrons would there be? So what will be the total charge of those electrons? The total charge of these electrons will be N. So let's say N mole of electrons, N mole of electrons have been lost, okay. So in losing 1 mole of electrons, the charge on 1 mole of electrons is 96500. So for N mole of electrons, it will be N into F. 1 mole of electrons has this much of charge, so N mole of electrons has N into F much of charge, right. I hope this is clear, okay. Now what is voltage? Voltage is basically nothing but EMF of the cell, okay. So this will be EMF of the cell, okay. So work done can be represented as NFE, which is where E is EMF of any cell. It can be under standard conditions, it can be under any condition, okay. So here non-standard conditions are something that we are going to take, okay. Now let's come to some. So over here we have arrived at a conclusion that the work done in by a cell is basically equal to the number of moles of electrons, that it has lost into F, okay, into E, that is EMF of the cell. Now we know that there is something called as Gibbs energy. Okay, now what is this Gibbs energy? Gibbs energy basically means that the amount of energy that is possessed by a system for useful work. Okay, so the amount of energy, possessed by a system to do useful work, okay. So this is basically the amount of energy that is possessed by a system to do useful work. Now, is this useful work being done? Okay, see, a system will always have higher amount of energy than the Gibbs energy. Okay, the higher amount of energy, the amount of energy that is more than the Gibbs energy is basically the amount of energy that is required to maintain its stability. Now, Gibbs energy is basically the energy that is associated with useful work done by the system. Now, if the system is doing work, then obviously Gibbs energy is going to go down, because this amount of energy is being spent by the system. The system is spending this much amount of energy, so obviously Gibbs energy will show a negative work done. Okay, we can write that Gibbs energy is basically equal to minus of W, because this energy is going to come down, because Gibbs energy is being used by the system to do work. So obviously the Gibbs energy value is going to come down. By how much will it come down? It will come down by the same amount as is the work done by the system. So we can say that delta G, that is Gibbs energy change, will be minus Fe. Okay. Okay. Now we come to, see, we were referring to non-standard conditions here. Now we will refer to standard conditions. Okay. So we know that for standard, so let's say EMF of any cell, we know here that it is equal to E naught, that is under standard conditions, minus of cathode minus E of anode. This is something that we know. This is EMF of any cell, and this is basically standard. Okay, so this is standard and this is also standard. So this is basically for any cell, and for standard conditions EMF, EMF is equal to, this is standard conditions. Standard conditions again means pressure of 1 atmosphere. Okay, pressure of 1 atmosphere. Then we have molar concentration as 1 molar. Okay, and the volume, then the molar concentration is 1 molar. Concentration is 1 mole, and temperature is 298 Kelvin. Okay, so under standard conditions we know that standard reduction potential of the cathode minus standard reduction potential of the anode. This is under standard conditions. Okay, so in Gibbs free energy also, this is for any cell. Okay, for standard conditions, what will this be? Just as we have there, just as we have here. Okay, just as we have here, we will have here the same equation for Gibbs free energy as well. This will be minus F under standard electrode potential. Okay, I hope this is clear. Okay, just corresponding to the standard electrode potential, we have the standard change in Gibbs energy, and for any cell we have the standard change in Gibbs free energy. Okay, all right. Now we know as per thermodynamics. Okay, as per thermodynamics, okay, the Gibbs free energy change is equal to the standard Gibbs free energy change plus RT ln Q. Okay, this is a thermodynamical equation. The Gibbs free energy change is equal to the standard Gibbs free energy change plus RT ln Q, where R is what? Where R is the gas constant, that is 8.31 joules per kg mole. Okay, this is the gas constant, 8.31. What is this? We have already learned what is this. Okay, T is temperature in Kelvin. Okay, what is ln? Ln is basically natural log. Okay, so ln is nothing but natural log, and natural log is what? It is basically log to base e. If we need to convert log to base e to log to base 10, all we need to do is 2.303 log base 10. That's all. Okay, so this is something that we have to understand. If we need to convert natural log, that is ln, into natural log is basically log to base e. If we need to convert log to base e to to log 10, then this will be nothing but 2.303 log 10. Okay, all right. So we'll continue from here. Now in place of this one, what can we put here? We can put minus NFE. We can put here minus NFE. In place of the standard Gibbs energy, what can we put? Minus NF standard electrode potential. Okay, and plus R, that is 8.31 into, if let's say I have taken temperature as 298 Kelvin. So when temperature is 298 Kelvin, okay, mostly your reactions are at 298 Kelvin. So when temperature is taken as, when temperature is 298 Kelvin, so 8.31 into 298, okay, or rather first let's derive the equation. Instead of putting values, let's just derive the equation first in its format. Okay, minus NFE plus this will be RT. We can write log E. Okay, this will be basically the 2.303 part is coming here. 2.303 RT log E log 10 base Q. Okay, now what is this Q? Q is basically the reaction constant. We can say that Q is basically the molarity of the ions of the products upon the molarity of the ions of the reactants. Okay, so Q is nothing but molarity of the reactants, molarity of the ions of the product upon molarity of the ions of the reactants. Okay, so now can we divide this? Can we divide this entire equation by NF? I am sure it's going a little hosh-posh, but stay there. Okay, so if we divide by NF, what will happen? NF gets cancelled, or rather we divide by minus NF. If we divide by minus NF, what do we get? So minus NF gets cancelled here. So we have here EMF, that's EMF of any cell basically. That's EMF of any cell, and here NF gets cancelled with NF. We are left with standard reduction potential. This is the standard EMF. This is any EMF under any condition. This is EMF under standard conditions. EMF under any condition, EMF under standard conditions, plus, or rather it will be minus because we are dividing it by minus. Okay, 2.303. Okay, now we can put, let's say R, or rather RT by NF log 10 molar concentration of ions in the product side, molar concentration of ions in the other side. Okay, so this is basically the Nernst equation. How can we modify it? When temperature is 298? Just remember, you can modify or use this value that I am going to put in the next column only when the temperature is 298. Most of your reactions or most of your questions are based on the temperature 298. This is applicable for any pressure, any temperature. This is applicable for any kind of pressure, any kind of temperature. You are just going to put the value of T out there, and of course N and F are there. Okay, now in case the temperature is 298, then what will happen? The EMF of any cell will be equal to EMF, okay, of the standard cell minus 2.303 into 8.31 into 298 upon N. N is what? N is what here? 1 mole of electrons, and this is what? F. Okay, so N remains as N. N is basically the total number of electrons lost in oxidation, and F becomes 96500. Okay, again we have log 10 products and reactants. Okay, so if we kind of sort this out, this comes out to be minus, this will be 0.059 by N, 0.059 by N log 10 molar concentration of products by molar concentration of reactants. Okay, so this is another form of writing the Nernst equation, but this is applicable only when you have taken temperature to be 298, that is basically room temperatures. This is applicable to all temperatures and pressure. This is applicable to when the temperature has been specifically taken as 298 Kelvin. I'm not sure whether this is visible. Let me just make changes. Okay, so this is applicable only when the temperature happens to be 298 Kelvin. So this is the derivation of Nernst equation. Okay, this is primarily used to calculate. We know that there is a basic method of calculation of standard electric potential. Okay, we are already aware of it, but Nernst equation is basically helping you to calculate the standard reduction or rather the EMF of the cell when it is under non-standard conditions. Okay, we know how to calculate it for standard conditions. This is under non-standard conditions. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now what we are going to do is we are going to cover up a lot of questions on this one, so that we have a complete clarity on how to use it. Okay, first we'll go on with basic questions, then we will go on to questions at a level of IIT or NEET. Okay, so that we have a clarity on how to deal with this equation and how to deal with problems correlated to this equation. I hope it clarifies your concepts. You can take a snapshot of the same. In case the concepts are still not clear, please feel free to kind of ask questions in the comment section, or whatever you want to do. You can just get in touch by giving your inputs into the understanding of the same. Okay, you can take a snapshot of the same. Okay, so we are going to study a little more about Nernst equation, how to apply it, and what are the basic conditions, and then we are going to cover some problems as well. So we have a clarity entirely on Nernst equation. Okay, so now let's say if we have a reaction wherein A moles of A is reacting with B moles of B. So these are basically reactants. A moles of A is reacting with B moles of B. The involvement here is of n electrons, which means n electrons are taken for the oxidation, or rather given out in the oxidation process. So obviously while balancing, it will be n electrons which will be accepted in the reduction process when we balance equations. So n electrons, if they are given out in the oxidation process, obviously it will be the same number of electrons which are accepted in the reduction process. So A moles of A and B moles of B undergoing transfer of n electrons during oxidation process forms product C and D. C moles of product C is formed and D moles of product D is formed. So if we were to generalize the Nernst equation that we have just derived in the previous slide, okay, if we were to generalize it, then this will appear as EMF of any cell is equal to EMF of the standard cell. EMF of the standard cell, that is the difference between the EMF standard cathode, EMF standard anode. Okay, standard conditions are 1 atmospheric pressure, 298 Kelvin and 1 molar concentration, minus 2.303 RT/F. We have seen this derivation already. Log, okay, log. Look at the products and their molar concentration, product and their molar concentration, product and their molar concentration. Okay, so product and their molar concentrations. So C moles and D moles. Again here we have A and B. Okay, product upon, so that is what we had calculated, right? Molar concentration of the products upon molar concentration of the reactants. So we have here E minus 2.303 by NF log CCDD by AABB. Okay, now when we, let's say if we reverse it, see we know that log, let's say if we have A by B, okay, this can be expressed as what? Minus, or rather we can express this as log 1 by B by A. Can we express this in this form? Because any which ways A will come here. Okay, so this can be expressed as log B by A to the power of minus 1, which means minus log B by A. So log A by B can be expressed as minus log B by A. And the same thing we are doing. See, when the denominator changes to numerator and the numerator changes to denominator, the sign of the log will change. So obviously we had a minus sign here, but this will give you a minus minus, so this will become plus. So in case you are given an equation wherein the products are written as denominator and the reactants are written as the numerator, then in place of a minus you will just have a plus. I hope this is clear. Okay, so just as we have log A by B is equal to log 1 by B by A, which basically means log B by A to the power of minus 1, which basically means log minus log B by A. So that is what is getting followed here. Okay, so here we had this one. Okay, now this gets converted into plus. Okay, I hope this is clear. Okay, so in case you are trying to write the coefficients of the products. Obviously this is the general formula with minus. However, if in place of products you are writing reactants and products in the denominator part, then in place of a minus it will be a plus, and it's a very logical thing that will happen. Okay, now some things out here. Let's say if we are talking about an electrode, okay, which is undergoing reduction. Let's say this has got a charge of N plus, it accepts N electrons to become neutral M. Okay, now obviously the molar concentration of this will be what? 1 for any solids or liquids. Okay, we have here for pure solids, pure liquids and gases at 1 atmospheric pressure, the molar concentration is always 1 molar. The molar concentration is always going to be 1 molar. For pure solids, pure liquids and gases at 1 atmospheric pressure, the molar concentration is always going to be 1 molar for pure. Okay. Now the Ernst equation, now let's say the molar concentration here is of a pure solid. This is basically a pure solid. Okay, it will have its own concentrations. Okay, so now the Nernst equation here will be EMF of any cell, standard EMF minus 2.303 RT by NF. N we know that is the number of electrons lost in oxidation, and this is the Faraday's constant, which is the charge carried by 1 mole of electrons, that's 96500 coulombs. Okay, log 1, why? Because it's a pure solid, its molar concentration will be 1, and this is the molar concentration of the ions. Okay, so here since this is the reactants and this is the number of number for the products. Okay, so that's the reason we generally do not take, whenever the solids is formed, we generally do not take the solids concentration, because any which ways it is going to be just 1. Okay, so here if this reaction is happening at a temperature of 298 Kelvin, if this reaction is happening at a temperature of 298 Kelvin, by putting values we know 2.303, and this will be into 8.31 into this will be 298, upon this Faraday's constant is 96500. So if we calculate this entire part, this comes to be 0.059. Okay, so that will be EMF of any cell is equal to EMF of the standard cell minus, standard cell means 1 atmospheric pressure, 298 Kelvin the temperature, and 1 molar concentration is the standard conditions, minus 0.059 upon N, that's log Cc by Dd. This will be the, in case the temperature is 298 Kelvin. The reason we need to remember this is because mostly in our numericals we are given a condition of standard condition of temperature, that's 298 Kelvin, and that's what we are going to get for 298 Kelvin. So we know that A, B, C and D are all obtained by balancing the chemical reaction. So that's the reason we need to have a thorough understanding of how electrode potentials are, which one is going to undergo reduction, which one is going to undergo oxidation. The one which has a higher reduction potential between the two metals is going to undergo reduction. So obviously the other one is going to undergo oxidation. Then we need to balance them out. We have seen how balancing happens. Okay, so balancing, basically when we balance it, these are basically the coefficients of balancing. Okay, so I hope this makes Nernst equation a little more clearer. Okay, we will deal with some numericals to have a clearer concept. First we will deal with basic numericals, and then we will go to the numericals which have been asked in different competitive examinations. Okay, so you can take a snapshot of the same. Okay, so we are going to cover some problems based on Nernst equation, so that our concepts on the same becomes clearer. Okay, so let's look at this problem here. Okay, what is given here is, write the Nernst equation and calculate EMF of the following cell at 298 Kelvin. This is one of the major factors, because in this case we do not have to take the Nernst equation in the form of 2.303 RT. We can directly take 0.059 because we have calculated those values. Okay, so now we have to understand this cell. This is basically made up of magnesium and copper. Okay, and we can see that their standard reduction potentials have been given. So obviously copper is the one which is undergoing oxidation. Okay, sorry, copper is the one which has got a higher reduction potential. It has got a reduction potential of 0.34 volts, and magnesium has got a reduction potential of minus 2.37 volts. So obviously magnesium will go undergo oxidation here, and copper will undergo reduction. Am I saying the right thing? Yes. Okay, so let's say so at where does the reduction takes place? So oxidation reaction, oxidation half cell reaction will be what? This will be basically copper, okay, copper, sorry, oxidation will be undergone by magnesium, that is solid, this will change into magnesium ions, okay. Concentration of magnesium ions is given to be 0.001 molar concentration. We know for the solid it will be always be 1 molar, okay. Okay, for reduction, so this is basically something that takes place at the oxidation takes place at the anode. So this is basically the anode reaction, okay. What happens at the cathode? Cathode is the place or the site of reduction. So we have here reduction process, reduction half cell reaction. What will be the reduction half cell reaction here? Copper will accept electrons, and it becomes copper 2 plus, okay. Alright, so here obviously there will be 2 electrons that will be released in the process, and these 2 electrons will be used by copper, okay. Now here copper is basically coming in the solid form, so obviously its molar concentration is going to be 1 molar, and here for copper ions we already have 0.0001, okay. Why do we need to write these equations? For 2 things. One, to calculate the value of n, the small n part, and that is the number of electrons that have been actually gained, or rather the number of electrons that have been released during oxidation, and we need to know the molar concentrations of the products and the reactants, okay. Always remember, if you have a molar concentration, let's say 2A is equal to 3B. So in this case, how do we represent the reaction coefficient? This will be B cube and A square, B cube and A square. That's going to be the molar concentration out here, okay. So we can have this rubbed here. Okay, so when we add these two, because the 2 electrons involved here, these gets cancelled, okay. So what do we have here? Magnesium solid with a concentration of course of 1 molar. We need not write it, it is pretty much understood, okay. Cu2 plus, that has a concentration of 0.0001 molar, that's what is given, right. And this will give you Mg2 plus, that's basically 0.001 molar, okay. And Cu, that is S, that is 1 molar, okay. So this is 1 molar. Are we clear on this one? Okay, clear. So this is how it will be, okay. This is how it is going to be, okay. Now we can write the Nernst equation here. So Nernst equation is what? EMF of any cell, write the Nernst equation, calculate the EMF of the falling cell. So you have to basically calculate the EMF of the falling cell at 298 Kelvin. So you can directly write what? Standard of the standard cell, EMF of the standard cell minus 0.059 upon n, minus 0.059 upon n log base 10, concentration of product and concentration of reactants, molar concentration of the reactive ions, okay. So for this one, what we can do is, we know that for any standard cell, it is always equal to the standard reduction potential of the cathode minus standard reduction potential of the anode, or we can also say standard reduction potential of the right side electrode minus standard reduction potential of the left side, okay. So what do we have here? We have here already which is the cathode out here. The cathode out here is the copper electrode, and copper has got how much? 0.34. So this will be 0.34 minus 0.34 minus 2.37. So let's look at this. How much do we get? Voltage. So this will be 0.34 volts plus 2.37 volts. That's going to be how much? 2.37. So 6 will 7 plus 4 11, 3 plus 1 4, 4 plus 3 7. So this will be 2.71 volts. So this is the standard in potential, okay. So we have here 2.71 volts minus 0.059 by how much? 2 will be the basically we are losing two electrons here, and that is going to be the value of n, okay. So log 10. Now we know that here there is no point in considering this one, neither there is any point in considering this one, because it will be 1. Okay, so there is no point in multiplying it by 1. All we need to consider here is this one. Okay, so this is basically the product. Product has a concentration of 0.01 molar. Okay, and the reactant has a concentration of 0.0001 molar. Okay, so just to kind of do it in the other way. So log 10, we are just doing it in the rough. Okay, log 10, this will be what? This will be log 10, right? See, if you kind of divide this, obviously this and this gets cancelled. So 0.01 will be equally to 10, log 10, 10. So that's equal to how much? Log 10, 10, we know the value is 1. So basically this will be 2.71 voltage minus, we divide this by 2, that's going to be 0.2 2s are 4, 2 9s are 18, 2 5s are 10. Okay, that's going to be the value. So 2.71 volts minus 0.295 volts. Okay, so this will be 2.71 minus 0.295 volts. That's going to be 9 1s 10. So that's going to be approximately 2.415 volts. Okay, so this is going to be the answer. That's how we are going to solve this. Okay, so here we have taken an example wherein we have two metals. We will take another example wherein we will take a gas in a form, and so on and so forth basically. Okay, so I hope this is clear. You can take a snapshot. We will move on to the next problem after this. Okay, so we are going to follow with another example of Nernst equation, and this is basically, look at this electrode, and we have been given a question and those are the options. Okay, so write the Nernst equation and calculate EMF of the following cell at 298 Kelvin. See, the moment we get 298 Kelvin, we know that our calculation becomes a little more easier, because we do not have to go to that 2.303 RT upon NF format. We can just write 0.0529 or 0.059 upon whatever the N part will be. Okay, now look at this very carefully. If you look at this FES, Fe2 plus 0.001, so obviously this is on the left hand side, it's going to act as the anode, which is going to lose electrons. So obviously this is at a lower reduction potential. I'm sorry. If you're going to look at this part, it is basically the cathode part, which is going to gain electrons. And why is going to gain electrons? This is nothing but the standard hydrogen electrode. If you look at this, this is nothing but the standard hydrogen electrode. And it is mentioned here, see, as I told you, solids, liquids always will have a concentration, pure solids and pure liquids will always have a concentration of 1 molar, and gases at 1 atmospheric pressure will always have a concentration of 1 molar. So obviously this will have a concentration of 1 molar. Okay, alright, so write the Nernst equation and calculate the EMF of the following cell. I think we are missing on something here. Let me just check. Okay, so here the hydrogen ions, okay, it's written. Alright, so so this is going to be act as the anode and this is going to act as the cathode. Now here the EMF or the standard reduction potential of iron is given as minus 0.04. So hydrogen is not given, and we know that standard reduction potential of hydrogen, as it behaves as a She electrode, is 0.00 volt. We all know that, right? So this will obviously be this one. Okay, now looking at the reaction, so this is the one which undergoes oxidation, that is loss of electrons. So Fe, which is in the solid form, is getting converted into Fe2 plus 2 electrons. That's basically the oxidation part. That's the oxidation that is happening at the anode. Fe2 plus has a concentration of 0.001 molar. Okay, and 2 electrons are here. And then we have here H plus. Okay, H plus 1 electron is basically forming H, but H is not the one that we need. We need H2. So H2 is in the form of gas at 1 atmospheric pressure. So it is given here 1 atmospheric pressure. So obviously the molar concentration is going to be 1 molar. Okay, and here it is given as 1 molar as well. Okay, here it is given as 1 molar as well. Now in order to balance it, we need to have 2H and 2 electrons, that is going to give H2. If we happen to add them, obviously these two get cancelled. What do we have here? Fe, the overall reaction. This is basically the reduction part. So the overall reaction is FeS plus 2H plus, that has a concentration of 1 molar, is equal to Fe2 plus 0.001 molar plus H2 gas at 1 atmospheric pressure. Basically H2 gas at 1 atmospheric pressure will always have a concentration of 1 molar. Alright, so we need to have the overall reaction, write the Nernst equation, calculate the EMF. So by just looking at this, we can say that the value of N here is 2. Okay, the value of N here is 2. Okay, so we will write the Nernst equation and calculate the EMF of the cell. EMF of any cell is equal to EMF of the standard cell minus 0.059. Why 0.059? Because we know that it is a reaction which is taking place at 298 Kelvin. Okay, upon we have N is the value of the number of electrons lost, that is 2. Okay, and basically this is N, and this will be log 10 molar concentration of products upon molar concentration of reactants, So what do we have here? E standard, this is basically something that we need to calculate. Okay, what is the standard reduction? What is the standard EMF of the cell? Standard EMF of the cell is going to be just EMF of cathode minus EMF of anode, which means that is cathode is basically where the reduction is taking place, that is 0.00 volts minus Fe, that is minus 0.44 volts. So that's going to be 0.44 volts. That's the EMF of this standard EMF of the cell, EMF of the standard cell. Okay, so this will be 0.44 volts minus 0.059 upon 2 log 10 products. What do we have in products? The molar concentration is 0.001, and what is the molar concentration out here? That is 1. Okay, so just resolving it separately, log 10 0.001. okay, this means log 10 1 by 1000, right? So this means log 10 to the power of minus 3, which means minus 3 log base 10, and this value is 1, so this will be minus 3. I hope this is understood. Okay, so here we have 0.44 volts minus 0.0, 2 2s are 4, 2 9s are 18, 2 5s are 10 into this part is going to be how much? This part, as we have already calculated, is minus 3. So this will be into minus 3. So this will be equal to 0.44 volts, and this will be plus. Okay, 5 3s are 15, 9 3s are 27, 28, 3 2s are 6, 7 8. Okay, 0 3s are 0 and 0. Okay, so we have here okay, so let's add them up. I hope this is clear, that this becomes minus into minus, this becomes plus. Okay, so we have here 5, then we have here 8 plus 4 is 12, 4 plus 1 is 5, so this will be 0.582. This one is the answer. Okay, I hope this is clear. We will take another example to get concepts clarified here. Okay, so you can take a snapshot of the sum and refer it to your examples